Hey guys, Rutterbraze here, and today I will be doing a r/Nuclear Revenge. Nuclear Revenge is pretty much a subreddit like your well-beloved Petty Revenge or Pro Revenge, except they could lean on the side of illegal. Let's get into it. I destroyed a girl's chances of becoming a professional musician. I'm socially awkward, way too polite, and a pushover kind of in real life, especially in school. Because of this behavior, I get bullied and harassed a lot. Sometime in October 2018, I literally had to take 6 weeks off of school because my mental state couldn't handle it anymore, and my parents had to pull me out for a little while. Even when I got back and the teachers promised me that the proper punishments had been issued, and I would have no more problems in school, well, of course, they were bullcrapping. The only reason they had bothered to tell me this is because my mother works in social care. She deals with abused children and broken families all the time. She also has direct contact with the Minister of Education in my country, so when she threatened to call him up, the school knew they had to do something. Yet they still did nothing more than a slap on the wrist to the people who had both physically and mentally harassed me to the point where I felt uncomfortable being in the same building as them. There's one girl who is one of the main sources of the harassment. FB. She is a music student, and her parents are extremely proud of her talents in piano and violin. This is important for later. I'm a music technology student, which, if you didn't know, is basically the technical side to all the songs and media you hear nowadays. How does a singer sound so good? Usually music technology is involved. Both these subjects are taught at the same time, and they're both in the music block at my school. Unfortunately, FB is in music at the same time as I'm in music technology, and her classrooms are right next to each other. About a week ago, FB came into my classroom whilst we were getting busy getting our final project done. These projects are worth about 70% of the overall mark or grade in music technology, so you have to do good in them or you're not going to pass. My computer is the closest to the door, so I'm the first one to see FB come in. Since we were a trusted class and there's only about 7 of us, the teacher usually goes off on an errand or to help out with another class whilst leaving us to work. FB turns to me and asks where the teacher is. The teacher was off covering another class that period and came in every 15 or so minutes to check that we weren't messing about. I tell FB that she's not here, and FB scoffs and rolls her eyes at me. It was my fault. The teacher wasn't there. But I'm too socially awkward and anxious to do anything, so I just turned back to my work. FB clearly doesn't like the no reaction from me and tugs on the cord of my headphones. Guess what? It snaps. The wire pulls off and the force causes the pretty bulky headphones to pull across my face and cut me on the temple. It wasn't a deep cut, but there's still the smudge of blood in it. It still stung like heck. That's it. I decided I'm not taking her bullcrap anymore. Skip to Thursday, 2 days later. 2 important pieces of information. This specific Thursday, FB had a practical exam on music, and she has to play 3 pieces on both piano and violin. And on Thursdays, the music block lets any student who wants to finish or practice stuff go there for a lunch hour. I go there most days if the library is closed. I had spent the past 2 nights plotting my devious plan, and now I had it ready. FB doesn't come to the music block at all outside of class time, but she leaves her school bag, along with many others, in the cavern, which is a small room where they keep spare instruments and spare parts. I head to the cavern and make sure nobody's watching, before unzipping her school bag and taking out all the music sheets from her bag. I also take her water bottle and destroy the sheets. So wet, it's impossible to hold them up straight. I tear them up into soaking shreds and hide them behind the instrument cage. But it doesn't end there. Any spares of those pieces of music get the same punishment. I have to keep running back and forth to refill her water bottle, but eventually they're all destroyed. It doesn't end there now. She keeps her violin in her instrument case, and the lock was long broken off. So it's simple just to take the violin from its case and snip off the strings with scissors. I say it's simple, but the strings were actually super tough to cut, and I had to eventually pull them apart. I also take the rolls of extra violin string and put them in my own back pocket. Returning her violin to its case, I head towards the big daddy of music, the piano. Obviously, I can't give the piano the same treatment as the violin, so I do something arguably worse. In my school, we have a little bendy tool to remove piano keys when they need replacement. So I removed them all and threw them in the outside garbage bin so nobody could retrieve them. Later that day, I heard FB completely fail her exam because she physically couldn't do anything for it, and they couldn't reschedule it until next year, in which she should have been taking her higher music exam. But that's not the cherry on the cake. Her parents had forced the school to bring in an agent from a music company, or it was a manager for a label thing, I'm not sure, and she was supposed to perform for him. I feel not at all guilty. This girl ruined my social life and my mental state. This is pro, petty, and nuclear revenge all in one. It is the ultimate revenge. So much she did right. And it turns out that she never did get caught for it, which that seems like a pretty sour cherry on the cake. Alright. So my dad used to live in the inner city. He loved it in a bad area, and it wasn't uncommon to hear shootings a block down. It was 1980 something. What do you expect? The streets the streets were tight, the blocks were small, and the houses were compact. There wasn't much room to park, except a small parking lot around the corner. The street consisted of small houses and tiny yards, so people took either great care of or no care of their lawns, within their own limitations, of course. My dad's next door neighbor, let's call him Jim, caused problems. A lot of problems. Jim found every reason to call the police on my dad to harass him and be a complete button. My dad was always annoyed, but he never got violent. He's good at keeping his cool. One day, however, Jim got a harsh serving of karma. My dad was sitting on a small patio and Jim was walking by. Jim had a dog with him, so you can probably already tell where this was going. Jim's dog took a crap in my dad's yard, so my dad asked him to clean it up. Jim either ignored him or said something along the lines of, "What are you going to do about it?" So, without saying a word, he took a plastic bag and moved it to Jim's yard. Jim, outraged, threw it back at my dad's house. My dad called the police ASAP. When the police got there, they questioned my dad, Jim, and a few bystanders. My dad's friends happened to roll by and saw police cars, and decided to see what was happening. His friends found out a few things, and they were mad. They gathered a few more guys, about 10, and went around the corner. They found Jim's car and got to work. A few broke in, but most were on top of it. But they all found a spot and took a crap. They crapped all over this guy's car. No, my dad had nothing to do with this. His friends did this on their own, not even informing my dad of what they would do. Later, note, the police are still there, when Jim went to his car, he blamed my dad. My dad knew what happened, but the police didn't. Jim claimed that my dad did it, and he should be sent to jail. The police knew Jim was lying, since he was standing with them the entire time. My dad moved away sometime later and met my mom. 10 years later, when the family moved, there was someone moving in next door who had the same name as this tard who I called Jim. Thankfully, it wasn't him, and no one in my family has heard from him since. Wholesome. Quite ironic, too. I like it. The perfect nuclear revenge. The burning bush? This is short. I spent 4 weeks gardening for my uncle's ex-wife. I still call her auntie. She said she would pay me $200 per week. When I was done, my auntie told me she was using the family discount and didn't pay me. She had hedges along the fence and 2 beautiful garden beds. She knows it was me. I know it was me. She can't prove it. He burnt it all down. Burnt it. Another wholesome, short but still wholesome. I was advised to post this here. Don't steal my stuff. During my middle school and high school years, I was really into an MMORPG called MapleStory. For those who are unfamiliar with this, it's basically an online game where you interact with thousands of real people while you level up your character, upgrade your equipment, and make money. It was extremely addicting, and I played this game probably more than I should have. Over the course of these years, I have made many friends in this game, some of which I still talk to today. Then one day I met someone I will call Mark. Mark and I both played this game quite a lot. We began leveling up together and spent countless hours talking. Against my better judgment, and perhaps his as well, we gave each other our usernames and passwords so we could borrow equipment from each other while one was offline. We began to have a stockpile of equipment shared between us both on both accounts, and basically shared everything. I bet you can see where this is going. What could possibly go wrong? I got back from school, logged in, and my character looked strange. Gone. Everything was gone. My mouth went dry. Mark and I had been friends for years, and at this point, my first thought didn't even go to him. I thought some internet hacker got into my account. Of course, it was virtual, but it was still years of work that was just gone. I just stared at my empty inventory in disbelief. Mark had logged in. I messaged him and asked if his account is okay because my stuff is missing. He finds me and gives me a monologue. Don't even deny it. I know you took everything from me, so I went ahead and took everything from you. Goodbye. He doesn't give me a chance to reply and he's gone. I try logging into his account only to find he changed his password. I try to log back into my own account, and my password is changed as well now. He even changed my recovery email, so I was unable to change it back. Ooh. This is the part that actually confuses me. Someone must have stolen his stuff, but I know it wasn't me. I can see the logic in his end that if I was the only one with his account information and his stuff went missing, it must have been me. But it wasn't. And he didn't bother talking it out. I would have given him half my stuff to get him back on his feet. Either way, he took everything and left me with no choice. Now, it's war. Mark had multiple game accounts. He gave me his username and password for one of his other accounts in this game. On a whim, I tried logging into it. It worked. He never changed it. I went into his game account maintenance page and found his backup email. The password for the game account worked for the recovery email. I had one of his email addresses. I saw he set up this email to be a recovery email for another one of his Gmail accounts. The same password worked for this email as well. This email was a recovery email for another one of his Gmail accounts. You guessed it, the exact same password. Through this chain of process of recovery email addresses being linked to each other's email addresses, I obtained 5 Gmail accounts of his and promptly changed the passwords for them. Then I thought, I bet these Gmail accounts are linked to game accounts. I was right. The backup email for my game account was linked to one of these 5 backup email addresses. His main game account was linked to another email address I obtained. I swiftly changed the password and backup email for all of my game accounts, as well as his. I had everything of my back, plus his game account, and 5 email addresses. That should be good, right? This is where it gets good. I wasn't in this just to get even by this point. I wanted everything. By plugging in that single password and 5 of his email addresses, I obtained his Facebook, Instagram, and various other social media accounts as well. On this Facebook account of his, I found a sex tape of him and his girlfriend that his girlfriend sent him. I was thinking of what I could do with this. His girlfriend's dad was friends with him on Facebook. I emailed him. I don't know exactly if I should tell you this, but Mark has been showing everyone this video at school and sent me a copy. I thought you should know. I attached the video, acted like his classmate from an anonymous email address, and said Mark was showing everyone a sex tape of his daughter. His daughter. The dad confirmed that he was the girlfriend's dad and thanked me. I deleted the account and never spoke to the dad again. During all this time, I gave another friend the other social media accounts and told him to wreak havoc with them. But don't do anything with the sex tape. The girl didn't ask for this, so I wasn't going to bring her down. I never got to see the fallout from the email to Dad. It had to have taken a while to fix what my friend did to those social media accounts, though. I haven't spoken to him since or played that game in many years. I still have the email addresses and game accounts. I don't know how he managed it, but apparently he is still with his high school girlfriend. I can rest easy knowing that the holidays with Dad must be awkward as heck. So at midnight... Oh. Here's the line to the one story. Yeah, when she burnt the fire. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. That's been an episode of our Nuclear Revenge. I know I've had a few errors there. I hope you still liked it. I personally like the stories. Quite wholesome, in my opinion. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and get that bell icon so you're notified of whenever I upload. Thanks, guys.